I'm Maria Quattrone, and this is the Be the Solution podcast. And today I'm excited because we have a return guest and friend of the show, Dan Zytowski. And Dan. I watch Dan on social media. I aspire to be like Dan.
Oh,
Dan is just God, killing it out there, and he lives his life. And Dan, I have a quote for you this morning is that life begins when you step out of your comfort zone.
wow. Very
That's the
true.
quote that I picked for you personally this morning. Life begins when you step out of your comfort zone.
Wow. I love it. I love it. Well, let me first say thank you so much for having me on. We had a last time on the show and I watch you too, and I see how you live out loud and you lead by example, and you're definitely leading from the front. And I love what you're doing, and I love how you're leading. So it's just an honor to be back on here again and with your group and be able to totally bless them somehow, some way. Maybe we pierce their heart with something we say today. But you said you see me on social media, and I do that. It's just the real. People have called it. I speak at a lot of events. I do a lot of keynote for companies, and they're like, "You're the real deal, Dan Zytowski," and that's what you should be called, because there's so much fake stuff. I call it fake book, right? So I coined that term fake book out there because people could be whoever they want to be on social media, and I put it out there, and I think you do the same. From what I watch, you put out the real deal. And I want people to see that we're real. We're not perfect. We screw up, we fail, we live our life out loud. And the most important thing I want people to see is you can live life by design, the way you want to live life by design without waiting, right? Don't wait till what they call those golden years where you get old, you get sick, you're fragile, you're tired, you go to doctors, you're on medicine, and those are supposed to be your golden years where you have less money. And I don't believe in that you only live once. My thing is you live every day. You die once, right?
Well,
So
some people are already dead, but they're alive.
exactly. They're just existing. They're not living. So, I love putting it out there because I want people to see, hey, you can live life by design too. It doesn't have to be Dan Zytowski or Maria Quattrone. It could be you, right? I tell people, don't compare yourself to me. We're already done, right? You might not want to live my life. You might not want to take all summer off and be on the beach and the boat. That might not be your thing. You might want to grind all summer. You might want to do different things. That's the life by design I talk about, right? I designed the life I wanted. And here's the most important thing I might give somebody when I coach anybody over the years. This is what I always tell them, because nobody has figured this out yet. And they come to me and they say, well, what is your dream? And if you could do anything in the world, what would it be? And if you could pull your calendar out today and say, money and time wasn't an issue, what would my life look like? What would my calendar look like? And that's exactly how you got to start this off. And then you work backwards. Okay. You say, I want to go out there and I want to do what you do. Whatever. If you want to do what I do and you want to not work all summer, you want to just be on the beach or the boat or just hanging out all summer with friends and just going to coffee shops or whatever you want to do where you live. Well, then what does that look like for you? How much money do you need to do that? How much time do you need to do that? Okay, how do you get the money? How do you get the deals? How do you find, the people to partner with, right? But what most people do and what they do wrong, it's they go forward. They say, I'm just going to go out there and I'm going to grind and I'm going to hustle. And I'm going to put on social media all this stuff. I'm going to rent the fake cars and the fake planes and the fake boats and all that stuff and wear a crazy watch collection, like we got. But they're going to put themselves into debt to wear it, or they're going to wear the fake stuff, right? Because they're trying to impress people that really don't care about them. But you're really not living your life by design. So the other thing we see is people spend more time planning a vacation than they plan their life, right? They go on vacation and they have an itinerary. Because I'm doing it now. I'm planning to go to Italy, right? So we're looking at itineraries, where to go, what towns to go, to stay in an Airbnb, to stay in a hotel, to have a private drive, to have a private, tours, what month to go, where to see, how to hit different parts of the country. But most people don't plan their life like that. And when I ask people, so how much do you need to make to live the life you want to live that way? They just throw a number at me. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 100,000. They have no idea why. No idea why. And I know that number is so inconsistent because I know my number to a penny, right? And I tell them, you don't need to live Dan Zytowski's life. You don't need to live Maria Quattrone's life. You need to live your life. What does your life by design look like? Stop having a comparison. That's the problem with social media. It's great, and I love it because I'm able to like pierce people's hearts and help them. And I don't show off on social media. I don't put, you really won't ever, unless I'm driving it, you will not see me posting my cars. You will not see me posting my watch collection. You won't see me posting stuff like that. But you won't see me doing that because that means absolutely nothing. Nobody cares. They don't care about your stuff. They don't care how successful you are. They care about what you can do for them. And once you create that, then you become somebody people want to follow. But when we talk about it, so many people have an issue because they're going forward and they're like, I just need to make 20 grand a month. And I ask them why, and they have no idea why. All right. So that's the important thing I want people to get out of this is you could start today. If you figure out today what your dream is, you could start today. People are like, well, I want to live on the water like you. I want to have a boat like you. I want to live on the beach. I want to do that. And I'm like, why don't you just get up, go outside and watch the sunrise? Start there. Watch how your life starts to change, right? Start having sunshine instead of screen time. Don't wake up the first thing in the morning, open up your phone and watch Dan and Maria on social media. I love you do it, but take care of yourself first. Stop consuming and start creating, right? I go on social media, believe it or not, people might think I'm on there all day. I'm not. I'm a creator, right? I go on there and I create content and I create it as real as possible, right? So if I go out for my run a couple times a week, or I'm at the gym, or I go play pickleball, I'm driving, or I'm running, or I'm at the gym, and something hits me, and I'm like, wow, this is powerful. And that's what I kind of do. That's where I do my meditation, listen to podcasts, and I put it out there. This is very important. We're on a podcast right now. It's a beautiful screen. You got lighting, you lit up, and it's awesome. But most people will not go and they will not do a live video because they're scared what people think. And this thing creates so much content. It change your life. You can make millions of dollars with this thing right here. Just hit play. Just hit record. Don't worry about being perfect. Worry about being done. So I'm giving a lot in these few minutes, and we can unpack these a little bit. But so many people are scared to fail that they never take action. And to me, you failed if you don't take action. And we can talk about that as well.
Yeah, failing. I mean, I don't know how you could possibly be successful without failing through, because there's going to be failures. You just fail, get back up, keep going, get back up, adjust, keep going, get back up. Look at all the greatest people in the world. They failed and failed. Thomas Edison. There's so many.
Well, I give people the example all the time. Thomas Edison is one that he had 1,000 failures, but I don't know if your audience has heard of Reggie Jackson. I ask all the time, what is Reggie Jackson known for? And he's the home run king, right? But he has more strikeouts over any person in baseball history at the time. And he's known as the home run king because he kept getting up there. Kobe Bryant used to go out there, throw 500 shots a day in basketball, all right? So the greats are great because Michael Jordan didn't make his high school basketball team. We're talking about people that failed over and over again and fail fast. Go out there and fail fast. Learn from it and move forward. Fail often, fail fast, and fail forward.
I was just reading yesterday about a doctor who did not get in. He tried to get in several medical schools, and he couldn't get in. And then he finally got into, they actually told him, you're not going to be a doctor. You got to go be a dentist or something. And he finally got into University of Utah. Anyway, he's the guy that made the artificial heart.
That's amazing. Imagine he quit.
Imagine he quit. Like, there's so many stories like that. Imagine he quit. Let's go back to the Life by Design, because that is something that it's very hard for many people, many people to do that. And even in real estate, I can't just jet off and be in Italy for 3 months. I guess I want to, but I'm not there. I'm here, Dan, with you.
You could do this from Italy. You could do this from
No,
Italy.
that I can. And I can do a lot remote. I do a lot remote, actually. A lot of my clients, investors, it's remote. People aren't interested necessarily in coming to the office. I invite them, but If you want to do something, you'll be like, well, we'll talk on the phone or do a Zoom or something.
Right. Well, it comes down to this, right? And I don't want to go through this too hard with you because I might get off this call. We might get off this call and you might be putting your retirement papers and all the people are going to start crying because, oh no, Maria doesn't want to do real estate agent anymore. But do you
Well, I have
even
an office full of people, so we have to figure out what to do with them. But
exactly? There is always something, right? But let me ask you this: you say I would love to go for 3 months.
yes,
You haven't? Do you know what it would take for you to do that?
well, we would need to do something with.
Let's just stop there, right? Let's stop there at that point because this exactly you're a real estate agent, broker, and it's exactly what people are doing in their life, right? They say, I want to do this, but they have no plan to ever be able to, like, what would it take for you to do that? There is something you could do to do that.
Well,
I know that.
my plan right now is this. This year we went for 3 weeks. We ended up being there for 6 weeks, but 2 different times.
Uh-huh.
Okay. This year we're going to Sicily for 3 weeks, end of August. Next year, my plan is to go for 1 month, mid-August to mid-September. 2027, my plan is to do the 90 days.
So you're making it work. So at least you have a plan and you know,
Yeah,
okay,
but
I'm
it's
not,
not like right now, right? It's 2 years from now.
that's
It's
hard.
2 years from now as I'm building the business, recruiting, training, starting my coaching business. So that's like my coaching business is going to be my end game to be not in the day to day. That's where I'm going. I don't know that there's very many people out there. There are some, but out of 2 million agents, not a lot of them have taken already 123 listings this year. So I have a lot to teach, and I can teach anywhere.
That's awesome. So you do have a plan, right? So you're creating life by design. So you don't have to go for 3 months this year. And that's what I tell people. You do not have to live Dan's life and Maria's life this year. Remember I said if you want to, I get out and I watch the sunrise all the time. I go to the gym. You don't have to do that, but you can walk out. You don't have to be on the beach, but you can walk outside your house and you can watch the sunrise. You can watch the sunset. You can watch nature. You can go for a walk. You can go for a run. You can meditate. You can do things that don't cost any money, right? So, because I get all the time, well, I can't. I'll do this one day. I'll have what you have, and I'll be able to do what you do. And I'm just like, don't compare yourself to us. We're already done. Get out there today and start creating the life you want to live today. Don't wait till tomorrow because tomorrow might not come. So exactly what you just did, and you have it planned out a little bit better than most. Most people say, well, I want to do that. And I'm like, well, what's your plan? What is it going to take to get there? And you're a real estate agent. What is it going to take to get there? How do you create that, right? Do you work backwards? Don't just say, I want to go to Italy for 3 months, but you have no plan to get there, right? What is it going to take? How do I put people in charge? How do I have a team? On money side, how much money do I need to get there, right? That I can literally shut my laptop and shut my phone off to be there. And for some people, it's maybe a different career. And some people, it's a certain amount of money. But a lot of people
You can work from there. You can see that's the thing, like being able to work from anywhere and then someday not having to work at all. But that's another story. But being able, I think that's, having that ability to be truly global. And that's exciting to me.
well, that's
I'm not, it'd be nice to take off the whole summer, but I'm not there yet in my career. So I do what I can. I'm still down the shore. I'll go back after the podcast, but we come down on Thursday nights. I work here on Friday, come back Monday morning. I'm tan as can be. Look at that.
yeah, you're like us. We're all on the sun. We're on the boat and the beach this whole weekend. So
I'm all tanned up. I am working on tan. I said, I like being tan. Like I was thinking about this. This is so like off topic, but I was thinking about this yesterday. I feel better. I actually feel better.
that's amazing. That's life by design. Like, what do you look like? What does your health look like? What does your body look like? What does your life look like? What does your relationships look like? If time and money was not an object, and being tan is certainly something that should be on that list. Because how do you create the tan? You create the tan by living the life you want to live outside, maybe on the beach, maybe on the boat, maybe
On the
some
bike.
be in a tanning salon. I mean, I don't go to a tanning salon, but maybe
I
some
don't go
people.
to tanning salon, but I ride the bike.
But exactly, that's life by design. That's exactly what I'm talking about. Riding a bike costs you absolutely no money. And you could live, you could not go to Italy for 3 months. You could still ride your bike. And at least you created something. You don't have to be everything, but you start creating something. And that's why I put out there these little snippets of my life, because people want to know you, trust you, and like you, right? And they got to know you, right? And they got to feel connected to you. So if they feel like you're the best person in the world, they're not going to connect with you, and they're not going to do what you do. So if you talk about how great you are, and you start showing pictures of where you live, maybe it's a mansion, maybe you're on a yacht, maybe you have a supercar, they're not a plane, they're not going to connect with you because they don't feel that they can do that. But show them how you can go outside and go for a walk and see the sunrise and listen to music and sit on your back patio and listen to the birds chirping. If you got on here, you might have said it was off topic, but it's not off topic. It's exactly what we talk about. And when I coach somebody, when I coach executives, business leaders, that's exactly what we talk about, because they're so into the numbers and the KPIs and the grind. And then one day they die. They never actually, why? And I say, why are you doing what you're doing? Why are you trying to make so much money right now? And their answer inevitably is because I want to do what I want to do, and I want to do it with whom I want to do it with. Look at your life. Is that what you're doing right now? So if you make $500,000, are you doing that? If you make $2 million, are you doing that? And how do I know? It's because I was that guy. I was the most depressed millionaire you'd ever meet. And we talked about that last time on the podcast. Is probably my life of flipping houses, 40, 50 houses a year, 50 to 80,000 minimum net per house, sometimes 6 figures per house, making multiple 7 figures, miserable, almost lost my wife and kids because I was never around. So was I really doing what I said I want to do? Was I really living my vision? And you have to figure this out first before you do anything else. What is your personal vision? If time and money was not an object, what would your life look like? Pull out a calendar and start drawing out your calendar. And believe it or not, this is the only podcast I think I've ever done before 10 o'clock in the morning in the summer. I must really like you, Maria, because I don't take podcasts before 10 a.m. in the summer. And I don't book a podcast in the summer because I don't know what the weather's going to be like. So I always say, well, get me that day. If it's nasty out, I'll get on. But we had a great time, and I enjoyed it, and we give a lot of value to your audience, I hope. And it's abundance that I want to get. My number one core value is abundance in life. So I want to give back. This is how I get to give back to people. But I just pray and hope that people take what we say. You've put out some great info. I'm putting out some great info here. I hope people take a piece of this, right? And I'm very careful not to tell them about what I have, but I hope they take a piece of this and say, I could do that. They talk to their spouse, their boyfriend, their girlfriend, their partner, their friend, their mom, their dad, and say, I'm going to do this, start doing this one thing today. I'm going to do this one thing today. And they don't have to do everything, but just take this one thing today.
The one thing, and your life starts to change.
It is. Like you said, you like suntan. You like being tan.
I feel better, and I look better, and I feel better, and that's a vitamin D, is what's underrated.
Oh, it's true. I mean, I talk about, come winter time, I have those sundowns. I have sundowns, but that's, who would have thought I now develop in Roatan, in the most beautiful place in the world. I'm developing condos and houses, and I get to go out there a lot. I speak at events. I lie. I mean, some of the events I go to, I get offered, a lot of speaking events throughout the year. And I look at it, do I really want to go to the cold winter somewhere and speak, or do I want to go somewhere nice and speak? And I got to be honest that even on the paid speaking events, the nicer places to go always come to the top of my list. It's like, I'd rather go there than some cold, wintry snowstorm to go speak at those events. So, and once again, it's life by design. I don't chase the money. I chase lifestyle. Right. And then when I go speak, a lot of times I get to bring my wife now because the kids are older, and we spend another, 1 or 2 days somewhere, and we enjoy it. So it's not just work speaking, which I love to do at events, but it's actually, I get to enjoy the life. So I get to see the country and the world. And last year I got to do a lot of international speaking. So it was evolving, right? Evolution happens. But one thing I won't do is my vision is so crystal clear to me. It's like in cement. It adjusts as I need to adjust, but I do not chase like I used to chase anymore. I 180-degree turn, but you have to build that. So I said, I don't want to be chasing anymore. If I do, I'll be a single guy by myself, very miserable and lonely, but I'll have a lot of money. And I said, what do I need to do to switch that? And believe it or not, you start making those changes. And as you start making those changes, the money starts coming up passively, and then it starts exceeding your transactional income. And that's the goal, right? So if people want to live that life, what's it going to take? How much money do you need? How much do you make per deal? How many deals do you need to make? How do you have to not worry about the economy? So that's controlling your destiny. That's lifestyle by design. That's why it's so important. I keep saying by design. You designed it, I'm going to make it happen. Just like a vacation. You designed your vacation to Italy, go make it happen, right? So people spend more time on their vacations than they spend on their life. And this is so important because it gives you by so quick. We're such a blip on this radar screen in life. And people are so busy waiting for perfection that they don't ever get started. And that's me watching. I mean, one of my talks out there is be okay failing. Be okay failing because you will fail. And fail, people are scared to fail. And I used to have 3 fears in life. I have 2 now. One of them used to be snakes, but I got off stage once and they put this 80-pound python around my neck, and I just over that. My other fear that I'll never get over is heights. I have no interest in getting over heights. So it with that fear of heights, and it's fine. The juice isn't worth.
Have you been in a hot air balloon?
No.
Okay. So
that juice is not worth the squeeze for me. I don't want to get over it.
Well, I have a fear of heights, and I booked a hot air balloon in Tuscany about 8 years ago. And I got in, I had you got to like get yourself in the thing.
Okay.
You have, because
I might have a fear of getting myself in the thing.
Wait, well, I had to get myself. So not only am I afraid, but now I have to like kind of throw my body into the balloon basket because it's not at waist height. It's like at chest height. So like, unless you're super, super fit, you're going to have a tough time getting your ass in the basket. Anyway, there's my husband and I. We weren't married yet. We're getting married soon. It was us and another couple. And it was 6 a.m. They picked us up at like 5 something. And up and away. And I loved it. I wasn't afraid.
Wow.
Wasn't afraid, and it's one of the absolute best things I ever did on a vacation. One of the best things I've ever done. We're over the vineyard in Tuscany. The sun's coming up. There's hardly anybody on the road. We flew up. We were probably up there for, I don't know, an hour or so. Now, I wasn't standing like on the edge of it, like leaning over, okay? I was just like in awe, all of the beauty, but also in awe that I wasn't having a nervous breakdown and how much I loved it. And so maybe when you're in Italy this year, you can check out the hot air balloon. I was surprised. My husband thought I was really going to be losing my mind because he knows about the fear of heights, but it happened. So, that's that I had no idea that would kind of break it. Like I'm on a big.
Are you broken of heights? It's fear of heights now.
I'm better, but like I'm not going to jump out of an airplane or anything like that. I don't know if that's fear of heights or just not wanting to do that. But when I am like, say, on a big cliff or a bluff, I'm not like walking on the edge. Okay, like it's just like to me.
Right. Well,
but I feel okay.
Let me tell you a fear that I have that set me right in my life. And you got to think about this. People need to really think about this. So you were able to get over your fear of heights. I was able to get over my fear of snakes. Those are kind of ancillary to me, right? They're life changing, but they're not this kind of fear. The fear that I live with all the time is my fear that I'm going to leave this world, be on my deathbed one day, and my kids are going to look at me and I said, my dad could have been a great guy if he took action on what he really wanted, if he wasn't scared to take action, right? So I'm not going to accomplish everything I want in this world. There's no way, because I have some crazy big aspirations and abundance and things I want to do, and I do them. I don't talk about them. I am about them, but I will never leave this world playing it safe. That's fear I live with, And that's the fear you got to think about, right? You got over your heights, but how safe are you playing it? How safe are people playing because they're scared to fail? And you failed if you do not go out and take action on what you want to do. So, how many parents out there have kids? How many parents out there have kids with dreams? Can you imagine telling your kid, sorry, honey, you can never be the president of the United States because it's just not for someone like you. You're not smart enough. You don't have the charisma. You don't know the right people. You don't have the money. Oh, sorry, son. You want to be a professional athlete? You're not going to do it because you're just not good enough. You can't do it. You didn't make your high school basketball team, Michael Jordan. Give it up. Go get a job. And some of the people I roll with right now, these are people that are life changers. They're world-renowned names out there. I mean, the founder of Chuck E. Cheese's mom told him, why don't you stop playing with the stupid cheese, the rat and pizza, and go get a real job? And look what he has at Chuck E. Cheese. I met an astronaut, very similar story. So this haunts me all the time, and it's not something you could ever get over. But think about how many things you're playing safe on, right? How many things you're playing safe on. Like I had a dream. I always wanted to be a scuba diver, right? What was I waiting? I was waiting. It was always never the perfect time. So one of my coaches and friends said to me, he says, well, when are you going to do it? I says, I'll probably next year. When are you going to be down here? Probably around this time. Good. He got on the phone. He gave me the phone, handed it to me to the master dive instructor, and they set my schedule up. It was on my calendar now. Now it was a different story. When we did the Make-A-Wish Foundation movie for Frank Shankowitz, it would be nice to do it. No. Are you in? Not are you in maybe. Are you in yes or no? Like that's the kind of crap I'm talking about. And if you hang out with people that you're the smartest person in the room and you have an ego, that's what you're going to fill your ego. If you really want to be a game changer and a world changer, start playing that game where you're scared to leave this world. Think about yourself on your deathbed.
I have that.
What would your kids, what would your friends say about you? Like, what are they going to say? I mean, if honestly, what are they going to say about you? And one of the hardest exercises I ever did in my life was my mentor made me write my eulogy. And I'm not a sensitive guy normally. Tears started streaming down my face because all I could say is my dad was a good coach because I used to coach sports, right? And I made a lot of money. I took care of them. That's what I honestly could say about what my kids would have said about me back in the day. And I thought I was a great father, and a great husband, and a great friend, a great uncle. But really, when it came down to it, I wasn't doing that. So I made a change, and I made it fast. And that's what I think about every single day now. That's in my head every single day is like, am I playing it safe in this world? Can I be doing more? And I don't mean money wise. Can I be doing more? Can I be changing a life? Can I be on a podcast like this? Hopefully a lot of people listen and they take this action. I might have changed a life out there. That's what it's about for me. It's loving on people. I created my own inner circle event. I do it like once or twice a year. I have 15 people, maybe 20 people max there. And I'm very, very lazy on who gets into that room with us. And those are the people we do life with. We do business, we do life, we do, they come to my house, they hang out on the boat with me. We cook dinners together, we do vacations together, but they start off as like, these are my inner circle. These are the people I want to do life business with. So, you got to think about who you want in your circle. It's so important, right? It's so important. You got to be okay, breaking the shell, breaking away. I'm not saying get rid of your family, get rid of your best friends growing up. But, too many people at all these events, they're hanging out. I call them the, king of dipshits. Excuse my French. Generally, I don't like to curse, but they are the king of dipshits. They talk about how great they are. They pound their chest. They get on stage. They talk about how much they're doing, how much money they make, how great they are, but they never actually give anything to people to help them out. So start getting in rooms of people that are actually making you a better person, right? And don't worry about not looking good. Don't worry about, Maria said, my hair. I want to get my hair done before this podcast we did today, right? But don't worry.
Not done.
People, tell me all the time, they're like, I get it too. I used to do it on purpose. Now so a lot of times I voice text like a post or something because I'm out on the road or I'm driving. I'll voice text them and there'll be a spelling error. And I always have a couple friends that write back to me. They're like, hey, you got word said this. And I'm like, you know what I say to them? I'm like, that's cool. While you're worried about fixing my stuff, I'm changing the world. And that's my answer to everybody. Like I'm not worried and not about me being egocentric. It's about me not worrying about being perfect. Worrying about imperfect action is better than perfect inaction. And so many people are worried about, I'm not going to do a podcast until I have the right camera, until I have the right lighting, until I have the right studio, until I have the right green screen. Or how about this? How many, investors? I used to coach newbies, new investors. They're great. There's nothing wrong with them. But why haven't you made an offer yet? Well, because I don't have my business cards. I don't have my logo. I don't have my CRM. I don't have my this. I don't have my that. I mean, you know what my CRM is right here? This is my CRM. I literally write everything down on a pad still. I do millions and millions and millions of dollars of business, and that's my CRM. And you know what? I have a high-end CRM, and I never use it. I use a pad and a paper. So, it's the minutia that people, because they're so scared, right? They're like, well, I need an email address. I need a logo. I need a website. I need a CRM. I need this. I need that. Just pick up this damn phone and say, hey, I'm a real estate agent. This is the house I'm looking at right now. Look at all these amenities. If you're interested in this, this is why it's beneficial. Start being a little different than every other agent out there. Stop just putting stuff in the MLS and hoping and praying. And I know I'm probably speaking to you and your audience right now, because that's what gets you 100-something listings already this year. It's because you're not somebody just throwing something on MLS and hoping and praying it sells. You're a changer, right? You're making a difference. Well, I could have done that. I could have done this stuff with real estate when I had the money, when I had time, when I had the team, when I had a CRM, when I had this, when I had that. Just start. You'll be so shocked if you start today, what it's going to look like in 6 months, 1 year, 2 years, 5 years from now. And imagine what 10 years looks like. It's even like investing, right? That's the other thing.
Or just getting into real. So somebody say they're in some other job where they're not making like a ton of money. They get into real estate, and I start the training with new people like this. I said, listen, take a piece of paper. I want you to draw a line on it, and then draw another line, another next to it, right next to it. I want you to draw all these lines. Now we have 30 lines. Now we have 60 lines. Now we have 180 line. And now the lines take up the whole piece of paper this way, right? And I said, that's a year. Look how far you've come. Because it's building on the premise of the daily, tiny little bit of improvement over time, the value of the compound effect. And the value of the compound effect married with the right stuff going up here, the right vibration, the right energy that you bring, believe it's already happened. Like, it's funny. People will say, well, I don't believe in all that stuff. I said, really? I said, because thoughts become things. Somebody had an idea. You had an idea, Dan. You're going to design your life. You did. You put things into place. You put things into action. And you believed. Like, you believe it will happen. There'll be a way that it will happen. Now it's the how, right? And so the failing part of it is, that didn't work. Okay, let's tweak it and try this how over here. And that's a whole different conversation than like, okay, we still have to do the action in the real estate world. And it happened to be for like a sales team, you still have to make the calls, but it's how you talk, what you say, how you ask the people the questions, the relationships you build along the way. I know so much stuff about all these people that I've never met before in my entire life, from talking to them on the phone for years. Literally. They're like, how do you know all this stuff about people? I said, I ask questions.
Exactly. Well, all we are is, I was going to say in that, not to cut you off, but it is important for the hear this. All we are is two things. Any business, all we are is two things, right? One is we are relationship capital. We build relationship capital. Any business you're in, you could be selling toilet bowls. You could be selling pens. You could be selling real estate. You could sell mortgages. You could be doing turnkey investments like I do. You could be doing anything. You relationship capital. People got to know you, trust you, like you, right? We talked about that. And we're problem solvers. That's all we are. If you think you're anything more than that, you're missing the boat. So start, just like you said, start building relationship capital. Don't look at people as a transaction. Look at them as a relationship. Don't worry about selling them. Build a relationship. The problem is people want to make it quick, right? They want to get rich quick. They want to lose weight, 100 pounds in 30 days. They want it quick. Instant gratification, everybody. This is the world today, right? You text somebody, I get back to you right away. But the relationship, and actually ask them how they're doing, and listen, really listen, right? Be present. Stop being more present, right? And that's been focusing myself on this year, right? I'm always trying to get better. In fact, I had they asked me the other day. She said, we texted a couple times. I didn't hear back from you. So I get this Facebook, right? I just want to make sure you got my text. I go, yeah, I'm at my grandson's birthday, and I was hanging out with him in the pool and hanging out, put my phone away. I wanted to be present with family and friends. I'm doing more of that this year. And I wanted to say, maybe you should try it, but I was like, I'm being more present this year, right? So, but we have two things. Don't forget this: relationship capital and problem solver. If you can do those two things. So if somebody tells you, I want vanilla ice cream, stop telling them how great chocolate is. They don't care. They want vanilla. Relationship capital and problem solver. Why do I get the best vanilla ice cream? Well, I know you love the best vanilla, but you should go try this chocolate. Well, they didn't ask you for chocolate. They asked you for vanilla. So because you didn't listen, you asked a question. And how many times do people ask a question just wanting to spew off their own? They don't even listen to what they're hearing. They're just like ready to talk, right? You probably get this because you're doing a podcast. Ready to talk, ready to talk, ready to talk. And I listen for cues. And when I hear cues, I'm like, oh, let's go deep on that because that's important. And like this is what you said, and it's so important if you're mentoring real estate agents, because I'll tell you what, there is a disparity, huge disparity. If you're a real estate agent and if you learn how to be a great relationship builder and a great problem solver, you will destroy every agent out there, because the new things with NMLS and the board and the commissions and how that works. Yeah, you have to earn your keep. You have to provide value. You just don't get free commissions anymore. And I think that's great for the great agents. The horrible agents love it. The great agents are like, yeah, I provide value. I'm going to make my money, or you're not going to work with me because I provide so much value. Right. So I know I've talked to a lot of agents because I've mentored a lot of big companies with agents, and the agents, they love the new laws. They didn't have a problem with it at all because they know how much value they bring. Right. So once again, it all starts with relationship capital and problem solving. If you solve those two things, you got a business forever.
That's came up with Be the Solution podcast because it was COVID 2020, April 1st, and I was going live on Facebook. And then my marketing girl, she's like, all right, you're going to do a podcast. I'm like, okay. So, well, we have to have a name. She's like, well, what do you do? I go, we solve problems. We get paid to solve problems, challenges. The bigger the problem, the more money. And I said, we provide solutions. So be it. So there. And the Be the Solution, our number one, my number one, and our company's number one core value, be the solution, be in contribution. So I do these podcasts and invite people like you, who great message, because I believe in being in contribution. And the more we can give away for free and impact people, that's my word this year is impact. The more we can impact people, the more lives we can change, the better we're doing our job. I believe that God put us here to be the best version of ourselves, and it's our duty daily to get better every single day. And the meeting that I don't want to take, Dan, and I think about this all the time, is the meeting with the person when I die who I could have been had I taken the chances.
That's awesome.
That's a meeting I never want to take.
That's awesome.
So I am outspoken. I am aggressive. People call me all kinds of things, whatever. But I am me. And I'm authentic. And I'm the Lena Quattrone out there. So we're the only versions of ourselves. Nobody has to be like us. I wish more people would just be themselves. Yeah. Let people, if you're yourself and you deliver the right message, your tribe will find you, whatever that means.
Exactly. That's your circle. That's what I was talking about, circle, right? Be authentic. People have to know you, trust you, like you. And if you're authentic, they will connect with you. If you're perfect, they'll never connect with you. Nobody's perfect. Nobody connects with perfection. That's why I do not try to be perfect. I'm just myself. And that's why I do a lot of social media posts, right? Just what's going on, and it's just living my life, right? Like talk about the good, the bad, the ugly, and just be me, right? So many people, you got to watch who you follow and stop consuming so much, right? Find your tribe and then create your circle, whatever that looks like. Create your circle, and your life will change completely. And don't focus on, oh, let me create my circle, how much money I'm going to make. Create your circle of what you want, who you want to be in your life. And it's just like your life by design. If you could have anyone in your life, what would they look like? And I don't mean man, woman, white, black, Hispanic. I don't mean any of that. I mean, what do they look like? What is the avatar? Like, what is their heart? What is their core values? Like, what are you not going to accept in your circle? And you create that. And there's ways to create that. You create a podcast, you create a group, you create a meetup, you create something you're into, artwork, bourbon, cigars, wine clubs, fast cars. Create a group and have people come. Those are the people you want to be hanging around. But create that. Don't sit down and just be somebody who consumes, be in life. And it doesn't have to be business. Just be a creator and what you want. Everyone has, like Les Brown says, everyone has greatness. And I believe that. I've just put his name there because he always says that. But I always believe that in my life. I'm like, I don't care who you are. You could be somebody strung out on drugs. You have some greatness within you. You could be a homeless person. You have some greatness within you. Every single person, I believe, and I love on people. That's it's just who I am, is I always love on others. And I always want to help them. And I'm a connector. But I always believe that somebody has some greatness within them. They just might not know it yet, and it might not be brought out yet. So if you could bring that greatness within them out, they change the world. And you got to be world. That's why I say world changers. And it's so important. These kind of, we really a lot, but we really brought into a couple things, right? There's not, people can get off this and listen to this and take action immediately today. They don't have to wait till next week, next year, till the New Year's. They don't have to wait till a New Year's resolution. They can literally start doing it today. Just start today, and then a compound effect will be tremendous for their lives.
So start today. I have a question for you.
Sure.
So we talk about people are afraid to fail. And I think that there is a lot of failure, but I also think there's a lot of fear of success.
I agree. People are succeed. You know why?
They'll be out of their circle of people. They're in a different comfort zone. They don't know how to live at that level. I have people always tell me, they say to me, and people come to me and they're like, I want to do this. And I said, they'll say, I'm not at the level that I'm at. And I say, who do you need to become to be at that level? Who do you need to become? Because at the end of the day, it's really about personal development.
Wow. That's powerful. That's really powerful. One of those questions we ask. Now, I don't ask that, but that's like questions that what does it look like? If it could be anything, like, and that's a great question to ask your students, anyone you mentor. Who do you need to become? And people are scared, and your network to pull you down, right? We always talk about that crab story, right? The one crab is walking in a pot, and the other crabs are trying to pull them down. But the reason why is there's two. Once again, it goes to the two. Everything is two. I was two fears, right? There's two things we are. There's two reasons why. And this is what I think. I'm not the expert probably on this, but the reasons why is, one is if they see you succeeding, right, they're scared that you're going to break out of that pot and you're going to leave them, right? So you're growing. They don't want to see Maria grow because she's going to leave them. And two, right, is they have to now look in the mirror and they say, wow, how come I'm still here? How come I'm still standing at the same street corner, hanging out with the same people, doing the same nothing with the king of dipshits? Like I talked about the king of dipshits. If she's growing out of there. So they say misery loves company. And that's very, very much what we're talking here, right? So unfortunately, you've heard you are the people you hang out with, right? If you hang out with the dogs, you're going to get fleas. But it's hard to break out. It is hard to break out of that comfort level of being the smartest person, right? I'm a speaker, so I say this with some slight intent, but I go to these events and I speak, And I always sit in the room and I watch. I'm one of those things, I just want to honor all the speakers and I want to honor the people that were there. I'm not one of these speakers that speak, get on a plane and go to the next event and speak there. Unless it happens once or twice, I have no choice. But generally I will be present, right? But I watch other speakers and I watch what they do on stage. And I listen to most speakers and all they talk about is how great they are and why you should do what they're doing, right? That's it. That's all they talk about. They don't actually teach anything. They don't actually tell you the how. They tell you the why. And they tell you how great they are. They're speaking for 40 minutes and 20 of it is talking about how great their life is, all the vacations they take, all the money they make, all the deals they've done. And nobody cares. Why I'm saying that is nobody cares about that. They don't care about your money. They don't care about your success. They don't care about it. You have to kind of prove they've done something and that's it. What they care about is how do they connect with you? And nobody connects with perfection. We said this earlier in the podcast today. All right. So it comes back to become that person. You have to be the dumbest person. You have to look to be the dumbest person in the room. And it's hard for people because that ego kicks in. They don't want to be the dumbest person in the room. They want to be on that stage. They want everyone running up to them. And it's cool to speak. But when I go to other rooms, right, when I go to like events and when I do a mastermind or inner circle, I surround myself. It's my inner circle group. I surround myself with most people that are level with me or above. There's a couple people that have done less than me, but their personality, their intent, their mission, their abundance is there. So I want them part of the group. I want them to grow with the group. But if somebody just comes and it's, hey, I idolize you or I idolize me, Dan. That doesn't do anything for me. I'm not helping you. Don't idolize me. Like, ask me questions. I get off stage and sometimes people come up and they have a chance to ask a question. Not that I'm the greatness that they have a chance, but there's a lot of people, if you speak at an event, a lot of people come up to you in the amount of time you have and they get like a chance. Hey, can I talk to you? Sure. What's up? And they'll ask me questions like, hey, what kind of watch you wearing? Where'd you get those? What brand shoes are those? I'm like, why is that the one question you would ask somebody if you have 30 seconds to ask them a question? And I don't say you get 30 seconds, but you come up to me, you've been there, you've spoken at events, I'm sure, you've coached people and everybody has questions for you. And I honor them for coming up but ask a question that's going to change your life. Like, ask that question, right? So it just comes back to the whole full circle of what we're talking about. Like, who do you want to be? If you want to be Maria Quattrone, what's the one question? If you could ask her, she got off a stage just now speaking to 500 realtors, and you could ask her one question, how she's going to do in a couple hundred listings a year, how she's going to, be 3 months in Italy or 6 weeks in Italy this year, and then 3. How do you do it? Am I going to ask her what kind of blouse are you wearing or what hair product do you use? Or am I going to ask her that question, right? Or am I going to go up to Maria and talk about, hey, Maria, you did 200 deals this year. I got 100 deals. Great. Like, she doesn't care. Like, ask her a question that's going to enhance your life. But once again, that's around being around people that are the best. Find the best person in the room or find the best rooms where you're most uncomfortable. And that's where you're going to grow. So a long story. I'm backing up the story, what you just said. That's so powerful to me, Maria. Thank you so much. You said, who do you need to become? Right. Wow. I'm going to be thinking today, I'm going to go out and have my coffee and probably sit on the water right now. Who do I need to become? Who do I need to become? Who does Dan Zytowski need to become to get better? And not that I need to make more money, because money's not an object for me. It's not something I chase anymore. It comes, but I don't chase it. But to be a better person, a better husband, a better father, a better grandfather, a better brother, a better uncle, a better mentor, a better coach, a better friend, who do I need to become? How can I look in? How do I get better? 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 And that's why I believe everyone needs that coach. Everyone needs a coach in their life. And you might need a financial coach, a health coach, a life coach, a marriage coach, a friendship coach. You need to invest in yourself. You need to invest, right? It's not a cost, it's an investment. So everybody needs to have a coach. So like, if I was a real estate agent, I get to coach Marie, who's doing 100, 200 deals minimum a year, and she's going to be traveling the world, not grinding in the summers. Well, that's why I want to coach me, right? Find the best person you can find that lives the life you want to live and find out how to coach you. Please don't ask them how to pick their brain. Like, I want to coach with you, not when I have the money, because if you don't have the money, you don't find a way to do it, you'll never have the money. It's not going to be easy. Nothing's easy. But find the person who's doing what you want to do and align yourself with them. And that's how you learn.
Now, people will say, well, when I don't have the money, I say, well, if not now, when?
When I coached one-on-one, and I very rarely do it now, I take on like 2 people at a time max, right? And always the best success stories were the people that didn't have the money. They were the best success stories because they were, it's okay to fail. If I mentor, they say, ask me to pick my brain. Because if you ask me to pick my brain, what's going to happen is the minute it gets tough, because it will get tough, right? Every business, right? We're going to fail. We're going to get knocked down. But those are the people who are going to quit on themselves. And selfishly, if I don't make them invest in themselves and they quit on themselves, what I say, everyone has greatness within them. They just haven't found it yet. So the first sign of roughness is when they're going to quit. Now, I'm being selfish if I don't make them invest in themselves, because they will quit on themselves. And now I just let somebody go that could have been great, but they're not great because they quit on themselves. Why they quit on themselves? Because it was too easy to quit. So, and I learned this because it was my own immaturity in coaching. My coach taught me this, that when I was coaching people for free, I was being selfish to them, not to myself, to them. All right. So think about that. And I know most people think about everything as a cost. Here's the thing. I don't know, we'll probably end with like success leaves clues, right? Successful people do not think of anything as a cost. They don't go out there, clip coupons, spend an hour clipping coupons to save 10%. They don't look for the cheapest gas in town. They turn around and they like, you know what? I could always make more money. There's only so much you could save. There's only so many coupons that are going to be out there. But I could always go out there and I increase my life. I can make more money. If I could take that time and spend it fast tracking it with the right people in less time, I can make so much more money. So if I was a real estate agent, there is no doubt in my mind right now today, if I was a real estate agent, I would find the absolute number 1, number 2, number 3 agent in that area doing the type of properties I want to do. Maybe I'm the $1 million listing guy in this area. I'm going to find the person who's listing all this money. Whether I coach or not, I'm going to make him a coach. I'm going to say, I am going to pay you. You're going to mentor me. I'm going to pay you this amount of money to mentor me before I even get on your team. And then I'm going to prove to you that I belong on your team. And then I'm going to be hired by you to be on your team. That's kind of what I would do. Or I can go to the local agent that's going to pay me 70%, not teach me anything, but 70% of nothing is still nothing, right? That's just how I think. And that's how I've been successful. So once again, success leaves clues. Follow what successful people do. And every successful person is a coach. Multiple. I have 2. Every successful person is a coach. I spend over 6 figures a year between coaching and events for myself, right? And I'm the dumbest person in the room, probably in both of those rooms. And you can't just pay to play. You pay a lot of money, but you can't pay to play. You have to earn your way into those rooms. So that's how I created my Inner Circle event. It's not a long-term coaching, the same thing. It's a 2.5, 3-day event, but you have to earn your way into that room. I interview every single person before I let them in. Yes, you have to invest money to get into those events. They're high level, but what do? We donate a lot of money. And I get to surround myself with 15 to 20 of the top superstars that I want to be around. And it's not a pay to play. You have to earn your way in. So create those circles, create your mentor, figure out who you want your mentor to be. And I imagine you probably have a lot of realtors on your podcast here, on the Be the Solution podcast. And imagine, you get to be mentored by one of the top agents out there, and you follow her trend of what she's doing. That to me is a fast track to success. Now, if I see an agent out there working 100 hours a week, that's never with their family, never can go to their kids' games, never can go on vacation, never can go to dinner with their spouse or their friends or whatever. I don't want that, because that's not the life I want. Now, if I'm chasing money, maybe that's what I want. So you got to figure it out. And most people don't have to figure it out. So I'm hoping with this podcast today, we created so many. If you're not taking notes, I would just say re-listen to this again 2 and 3 times. Start taking notes and start circling some hot buttons and start taking action. And I would love to hear success stories, Maria.
It has been a fabulous, fabulous morning with you, Dan. I'm grateful that you honored my craziness of an early morning podcast.
That's all right.
I like to get my day started thinking good things and thoughts. It was a pleasure the time again with you.
Yes, it was. It truly was. Thank you much.
No, thank you. And we'll check in with you, and you'll be telling us about all the great next things that you're working with, all the so many different things, but the development of Martin, and you can let us know about your next exciting adventure.
Sounds awesome. Thanks, Maria. Have a great day.
Thank you.